Sister Kwan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for seeing me.
Yeah, so it's been a week since we last saw each other, and please tell me how everything is going right now.
Things have been getting worse. I feel like I'm about to lose my business, and I feel like I'm about to lose everything, my family, my boys, and this need is just consuming me, and I don't know what to do.
And can you please tell me how that is affecting you in your daily life, knowing that, you have these urges and yet you fear losing your kids? How does that feel for you?
It's awful. I'm on edge all the time. I never know when the urge is going to come, and I've never had these urges before, and I'm not a peeping Tom. I hate that description, but I can't stop myself from looking in windows, and when I see a pretty woman on the street, I can't help myself. I want to touch her, and I know that it's wrong. I know that, but I just can't stop myself.
Right. Well, to start out, I think it's really great that you are aware that it is wrong, and I'm really glad that you're here to receive the help that you need, because that's what I'm here for. And it really seems like you're having a hard time every single day. Is there anything that you do that maybe just not really distracts you, or maybe where you don't think about peering into windows? Is there anything that goes on?
Well, I guess I don't have urges when my boys are visiting me. When it's my weekend to have them, I haven't noticed any sort of urges, just because I love being a dad, and I'm really involved in their lives, and I coach their soccer teams, and I'm always helping out with the science projects, and I just want to be that cool dad that's always there for them, even though their mother has them for 80% of the time. But I try to be present for them, and I guess I just get so busy with them that I don't have time to have urges. But as soon as they leave, it just goes all downhill. Like a couple weekends ago, after I had dropped them off on early Sunday afternoon, I was driving home, and I saw this woman. She looked like she was getting ready to take a shower in her house, and I couldn't stop myself. I got out of the car, I walked up to her house, I peered in the bushes, and I was looking in her window and watching her, and her husband saw me. He runs outside, he chased me down for 2 blocks, and I was terrified. I don't want to be this person that's looking in on other men's wives, and I'm scared that he, could have killed me, or that I would have gotten arrested.
Yeah. Can I ask you, how do you feel when you are looking into someone's window? How are you feeling at that moment?
It's like a drug. It's like scratching an itch that you didn't know that you had until you started scratching it. It's an addiction, and it's like I have to one-up myself every time. Like, first, it would be enough if I walked past someone on the street and accidentally touched their hand. But then the next time I had to do something even more. And I frighten myself. I'm scared of what I'm going to have to do next to get that same high, that same rush, because it is a rush.
That must be pretty scary, having to go out in public worrying what might happen.
It is, because I don't know I feel like I don't know what I'm capable of. I don't know who I've turned into. I don't recognize the man in the mirror. I don't know who I've become or how I became this way. And I want to get back to being the person that I was.
Yeah, that can be really hard. I can't imagine going out in public and fearing what might happen. So, is there anything that you have done to avoid these? I know you talked about your boys, but is there anything that you might think of when you have the urge to peer in or touch a woman?
Yeah, I think about how it's wrong and how it's without their consent, and I guess I spend a lot of my time thinking about how I could be arrested for this addiction, and how I could lose my business, and worst of all, I could lose my sons, not just custody of
So even though you have all these fears, your body just, you still have the need to go out and do this every single day, kind of to get like that natural high.
Yeah, I guess I'd say so. I mean, I will avoid it for as long as I can, and I'll think to myself, hey, I haven't done it in 3 days. I'm so strong, I'm getting so much better. And then all it takes is just 1 second of seeing that perfect woman, and all my self-control is gone, and I feel helpless. I feel like I'm spinning out of control, and there's nothing I can do to stop it.
Yeah, it must feel awful to just, feel that your urges are taking over everything, and you can't really stop yourself from doing these things that you know are bad and wrong. So if you could be here tomorrow, what would that look like?
Oh, it'd be awesome. I mean, I'd get up in the morning, I would go for a jog outside, something I don't trust myself to do anymore. I would go to the mall and buy socks I've been avoiding for 3 weeks. I mean, I would be a normal person again. I would not be afraid to drop my boys back off at their mother's house. I would be able to build back up a working relationship with their mother and not be afraid that she might see through me or see what I'm doing. I'd be able to go to work without wondering if a customer is going to come in that I can't resist. And most of all, I'll just be able to walk down the street without wondering what I might do to somebody.
Yeah. So going back, I heard you say something that you kind of feared seeing the boys' mom. Can you say a little bit more about that?
Yeah, when we were married, she would always accuse me of looking at other women. And of cheating on her, and of not being interested in her or interested in our family. And at the time, I just kind of blew it off and told her she was crazy and that she was imagining things, or that she was just being dramatic. But now looking back, I have to wonder, did she see something in me that I hadn't seen? I wonder if maybe there were signs that I wasn't seeing, and I'm afraid to see her now because I think that she'll just have to take one look at me and she'll know what I've become. And she'll be disgusted with herself and with me and maybe with our boys.
So it sounds like maybe your wife noticed these even before the divorce, and then now that you guys have divorced and gone your separate ways, now it seems like you're really seeing what your wife saw in you during the time that you guys were together.
Yeah, that's it exactly. And not to mention, I'm worried about my boys. Is this genetic? Are they going to develop this when they get older? What am I going to do? What have I done? And have I created monsters? I feel like a monster. I mean, I never want my boys to go through what I'm going through.
Right. Well, you call yourself a monster, and I wouldn't call yourself a monster, because you can't help yourself, and I don't consider you a monster, so I would hope you don't consider yourself a monster. And I'm sure your boys don't see you as that way either. So, let me ask you, do you have any short-term goals that you would like to work on? We know that the long-term goal obviously is to avoid everything that goes on right now when you go out in public. So what are your short-term goals that would lead up to that?
I guess I would have my short-term goals be learn how to have self-control, and how to, even when I'm in those situations where I do get the urges, to be able to control my actions.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good idea. Do you have any plans as to how you would control your actions?
No, I don't right now.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think those are really good. For next week, I really want you to just work on how you can use self-control when you go out in public, or come up with a plan, and we can kind of brainstorm ideas on how to approach that short-term goal. So,
Great.
do you have any questions for me?
No, thanks, Doc, for your time.
All right. Well, thank you, and I will see you next week.
Thank you.